I can't keep it together. Okay, so while JJ is looking at himself in the camera, welcome to episode 19 of the New Hampshire Horror Freaks.
I'm sorry.
You good?
No.
For fuck's sake.
Okay. I think I'm good.
Sure.
I got way too much laughter out of that.
You think?
Whatever.
Okay. So obviously we have our 4 reviews, which we have every week. What the? Oh, okay, never mind. Which Jay, what do you got going on?
For movies?
Yes.
I got Metropolis
from 27 by director Fritz Lang,
who is German,
yes,
but he was Jewish.
Yes,
we'll get into that later.
And actually, I want to talk about his other film when we get to Metropolis, which we'll talk about.
Okay, and I think I know what you're talking about.
So, I would think so. It's one of the we'll talk about it later.
Anyway,
we'll talk about it later.
I got that, and I got Mirrors
from 2009. Okay, and I've got from 2008 Clive Barker's A Midnight Meat Train.
Nice.
And from 2009 Tom Six's Human Centipede. Only took 19 episodes to get from.
Yeah, only took you almost 20 fucking episodes to get 2 to 1.
Well, I had to talk about 2 first because
2's the best, but I mean
so far. I mean 3's coming out. The final sequence.
I think 3 is going to be just blow the rest of them out of the water for the amount of people that they're going to do that.
Have to.
And did you hear the setting that they're going to do it in?
Yeah, it's like down south.
Well, no, not even that. Like the.
It's in a jail.
Yeah.
Which
what a perfect place because
it could be okay.
Because nobody would monitor it down south.
I like the fact that
nothing against the southern people. We just.
I think that Dieter, who was in the first one,
it's a social.
Being a redneck racist is going to be pretty funny. Because he's like a German actor for one, and he plays a German doctor in the first one. The only thing I don't know if I'm going to like is seeing Lawrence R. Harvey also kind of playing a redneck. He's going to have lines and everything. I liked it in the...
What? I liked it when he was like...
silent, yeah.
He was just like...
He grunted.
I'm going to kill you, and I'm not going to talk, and you're just going to be able to...
Well, they kind of say that he's... Well, we know he's mentally handicapped. We don't know if he's a mute or not, because they don't really mention
grunts
that. But I loved 2. So now you guys are going to find out how much I like or dislike number 1.
Awesome.
We also have our comparison of the 1982 original Sam Raimi directed Evil Dead, starring the amazing Bruce Campbell. And we're going to compare that to the 2013 remake, which I don't think that Raimi directed it, but I do know that the original producers worked on it. So we'll talk about that.
Oh, sweet.
We obviously have our Artist of the Week, which is a phenomenal actor. We'll talk about him later.
Yes.
He doesn't appear in any of these films, but that's okay. We have our top 5, which we're going to get into here in a second. And both JJ and I this time have a book review for you.
Nice. So you get a double dose.
You get a double dose if you're if you go to your library. If you have to look through your dusty tomes. All right, so...
I mean dusty tomes by my... makeshift bookcase then, okay.
Dude, I have so many bookcases and they're...
I don't have a bookcase. You know what I got? I seriously got a shelf.
A cardboard box.
No, that's the books in the closet.
Oh, closet.
I got a wooden box pretty much with crappy stands and just books thrown on.
Okay, but before we get into our wonderful reviews and lists and such, Jay, what have you been up to this week?
Pretty much nothing. I've
Dude, you have a boring ass life. Every fucking week it's the same thing. I've done nothing.
I got a new truck. I had to get rid of my Dakota.
Yeah, which we knew about from last episode.
Right. So which really sucked, and I was very sad. But
did you cry?
I did.
Really?
I was listening to "Gone Away" by. I was listening to "Gone Away" by the Offspring, and I cried.
Dude, I can see it now. You were in your room listening to.
No, I was in the truck on the way to the junkyard.
But once you got home, you're like staring out the window, listening to Cinderella's "Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone." All of a sudden, you're standing there at the window and you're crying, and all of a sudden it's just like, "Don't know what you got till it's gone," and it's just like,
oh goodness.
I can see that now. That's actually kind of funny.
Anyway, but I did get a new vehicle. I got a
new truck.
I got a Ford Ranger. I'm not a Ford guy.
Yeah, I don't care.
And so it's going to be like hey, look, there's a trail. Let's go beat the shit out of this thing.
Okay.
But good news.
Yes.
The 57 Buick I really want is still for sale.
Well, that's all right, I guess. Let's see. Outside of obviously working, because that's all I seem to ever fucking do, I watched a lot of the classic. Huh? Oh, tell me about it. I watched a lot of the classic Rod Sterling show, Night Gallery.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which was really rad.
He did that before he passed on there.
Yes. Which it didn't have the same fan following as Twilight Zone, but
Twilight Zone was
Night Gallery was definitely darker. I mean, like that was like almost straight out.
Twilight Zone was supposed to be like family friendly because it's the 50s. TVs are new, so everybody people sitting around watching the TV.
Yeah, I suppose, but
became a pastime.
I mean, Twilight Zone definitely had some scary episodes like Magic, which you and I were talking about before, and stuff like that. And the fucking Talking Tina episode.
Oh my god, Talking Tina. She's still haunts my She's in my mind.
I think she's in everybody's mind.
I fucking hate the Talking Tina.
And I watched a really rad documentary actually about Lovecraft.
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Yeah,
I'd actually seen before.
Lovecraft, Fear of the Unknown.
Yeah.
Which I watched, and that was really cool. They had some info about Lovecraft that I didn't know. Like, I did know that he was a xenophobe.
Yep.
That I did know, because he kind of came across in a couple of his stories as being somewhat racist.
Oh yeah,
but you look at the time too. Yeah, that's kind of normal.
The funnier thing is he married a Jew.
And
who went to New York.
And a lot of his best friends and co-writers were Jewish.
Yeah,
which is weird because he kind of had like an anti-Semitic.
He was like, no.
So it's kind of weird. So maybe he like realized as he was getting older, he's like, oh, this is just stupid, but I could use it as character plots. Because I mean, the guy for his time, he was an atheist.
No problem with that.
He said, he understood as to why religion was there, but he thought that it was just foolish.
Yeah.
And he says, hopefully man will get over that. So, really cool documentary. I mean, it is on YouTube, which is cool, and you can get it on
Amazon. It's like $90.
It's about that price on eBay too.
For used, not even for a new edition.
Brand new one. Yeah, you might. Like $300. I mean, if you go to like Best Buy or something, you might be able to order it, or even
go to a yard sale, maybe.
I mean, even you might be able to get it pretty cheap if off the Lovecraft Society's website.
I have not checked that out yet, and I am so depressed with myself.
Dude, that reminds me. So. There was somebody who did a parody / cover of the song "Hey There, Delilah."
Really?
But it's called "Hey There, Cthulhu."
Nice.
I heard a part of it. I'm like, I was gonna bring it up for the show, and I forgot all about it, and I just happened to remember it.
I love that. That is
You should see if you could find it while we're doing the show, and maybe we'll play it.
I don't know if they'll be able to hear it. Electronic sounds.
Well, we'll try it. We'll try.
We'll see how it sounds, and if it doesn't sound, we'll do this whole episode again.
We will not do the whole episode. JJ just wants to do this episode again.
Totally, I want to do it. This is twice now.
All right, so we're gonna get into the top 5, and while JJ's doing that, I'm gonna talk about my top 5, which we're doing horror based on actual occurrences.
Yes.
And my number 5 is Jaws. Which was based off of the shark attack off of Maine, I believe.
Close to Maine. It was up north.
I love Jaws. Great fucking movie, and it's going to be one of those movies that I think will always stand the test of time.
Found it.
Nice.
This one?
Maybe?
It's by that's the singer right there. Isn't it? Even Brooks.
Yep. But we'll talk about this first, and then we'll do the little Cthulhu. Number 4, Child's Play, which is based off of Robert the Doll.
Which we both have some love to.
Knowledge of, yeah.
I've seen a whole documentary on it.
I have too, but I've never actually gone and seen the doll like I really want to.
I would love to. And you know what? I was actually supposed to go to Florida this summer because my uncle needs to go down to get title for his truck or whatever.
Yep.
And so he's like, "Oh, I need to go down." I'm like, "Oh, can I go with you? Vacation? I want to get out of this fucking shitty state."
Yeah, you should go and stop at the museum and see if you can take pictures.
Why not?
But remember, ask his permission.
That's right. You gotta.
Because your camera will die if you don't ask his permission.
Yeah. He called it off, so.
Oh, bummer.
So I might do it next year.
Number 3, The Exorcist.
I love The Exorcist.
Based off the possession of a 14-year-old boy, not a young girl.
Now, see, I think they made it a girl because it's more sensitive. You know, it's girls. You don't in the '80s. You don't expect them to spew out swears
Or start masturbating with a crucifix.
that either. I mean, boy, he starts spewing out swears. You just call him a little bastard and kick him along his way. A girl, you're like, whoa, what the?
You beat him with a belt. Back then, that was okay. Back then, that was all right. And no, The Exorcist was 76.
Was it?
Yeah, 1976.
Damn. Why did I think the '80s?
My parents and my uncle were able to see that in the theater. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
That shows your parents' age.
Well, that would have put my mom at... Well, actually, no, my uncle didn't, but my mom was like 6 or 7 when she saw it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my dad
Your
was
mom was
like
probably
8.
starved for...
Nah, she fucking loved that movie.
No?
She loves that
Well,
movie.
your mom's kind of weird in that way anyway.
Yeah, well, my mom's who got me fucking into horror, so go on.
See, my mom just got me into Stephen King, and from that, I spewed into the horror.
Well, mine, I think I've talked about this before. I was 3 years old and I saw Candyman because I couldn't sleep.
Oh my goodness, Candyman is an awesome movie. We haven't even done that.
We
should
haven't
do
done
that one
Candyman. We'll have to do that soon because, I mean, that's a Clive Barker film, so of
soon.
course.
It's got an awesome, it's just a plus.
Yeah, fucking Tony Todd. I love that guy. Number 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sweet.
Based off of Ed Gein, with cannibalism and skin masks and
And the whole enchilada right there.
pretty much. And my number 1, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. I love the fucking book. I love the whole series. Amityville. And I love the first Amityville, the original Amityville, but for me, Amityville 2, The Possession, is such a better movie. I love that fucking movie.
I like the new one.
I like the
Ryan Reynolds.
yeah,
that
I
was
liked
really
the new
good.
one, but for me, it's still Possession. Possession is just such a good movie. Such a good movie. All right, what do you got, bitch?
I got The Blob, number 5.
Based off of the
Based off
Star Jelly.
Yeah, the Star Jelly
I
that...
don't even taste like anything. Like, I'm really
Well, you know what
curious about
they
that.
said, what, if I remember right, what space tastes like?
Like crap.
No, actually it tastes like,
It tastes like
raw meat.
it tastes like
stuff.
Cthulhu droppings. That's why it tastes like raw meat.
No, it tastes like that, and then it's supposed to smell like something. Oh, it smells like raspberries.
Really?
Yeah, because there's something in it that gives raspberries their smell.
Does it taste like snozberries?
You can't taste it, you'll die. So you can try to taste it, but I guarantee you it's not gonna work out for you.
Stupid Willy Wonka reference. Anyway, number 4.
I love that movie. Anyway, Nightmare on Elm Street, based off of the Chinese man there.
Japanese.
Was it Japanese?
Japanese.
Oh, either way, he
Some Asian dude.
was awake for
3 or 4 days.
4 days or so, and died of his nightmares.
Yep.
So it's loosely based. But
Yeah, he was
still-
actually afraid to go to sleep because he thought that he was going to die in his nightmares.
He did.
And he did.
So see, that's good story right there.
Number 3,
Amityville, which we've touched on.
which was my favorite.
Yep. So I've never
Totally
seen the
haunted.
house.
Totally possessed by the devil.
Set up.
No.
I think it was
No,
set up. I think
totally.
the guy was just like, I'm gonna kill my whole family, and I'm just gonna blame it on the house.
He didn't blame it on the house. He blamed it on the devil. He said that the devil made him do it. Which is what, like, everybody's excuse is.
That was the first. That was.
Your mother walks in, why did I catch you masturbating? The devil made me do it.
I should, you know what? I should use that as an excuse one day. Just like go up and like.
Why did you eat all my Twinkies? The devil made me do it.
No, I got this. One of my mom's friends comes over all the time. Her name's Krista. I should just go up and slap her in the face. What was that for? The devil made me do it.
You should tell her that you had a message from God.
Oh.
See, I want to do that one day, just like walk up to the Pope and slap him, and the Pope's like, what the hell was that for? And I'm like, God said to stop talking shit about him. he says that your hat is stupid and that you don't know him, so stop talking shit.
You don't know if it's the word of his people.
Okay, number 2.
Sounds a little hams. Based off of Ed
Ed
Gein
Gein
also,
again.
but loosely.
Yeah, pretty loosely,
I mean,
actually.
2 characters in them.
Buffalo
Buffalo
Bill,
Bill, and then
who was
Hannibal himself.
the skinning and woman suit-esque part of it. And
Out of
then-
that whole movie, that was the one. That was the guy that got to me. I was like, oh god. Ugh.
Dude, that movie has been parodied so fucking much too with Joe
Joe
Dirt.
Dirt. That was the person that could. Actually, that's the first time I ever got to see that
The Buffalo
the
Bill.
Buffalo
part.
Bill scenario.
It puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Yeah. Either way, I saw that the first time I saw it was Joe Dirt. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I saw it Silence of the Lambs. I was like, holy fuck, I remember this.
That's
shit.
awesome. That is fucking awesome. All right,
It's
and
awesome.
number 1,
Psycho again, based off Ed
off
Gein.
Gein. There's a lot of Gein ones.
Yeah, well, come on. I mean, come on.
I'm actually surprised neither one of us talked about like From Hell or The Lodger based off Jack the Ripper. I'm kind of surprised.
You know, I've never seen anything based off of Jack the Ripper. Really?
The Lodger is a great movie if you ever get the chance, and you like black and white films like I do, so I think you'd like that a lot.
But actually, the other night, my uncle and my mom's friend were watching TV, and they were actually watching this movie based off of Jack the Ripper.
Well, he was a killer, so I guess it depends.
But it was like his ghost killing London kids that mysteriously sounded American.
I know the movie you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. All right, so that's our list, and now we're gonna play a little snippet of Hey There, Cthulhu.
All right, see if I can pull it up here. So this one, or this one up top
I don't care. Pick whichever.
Okay, this one.
But get some volume going if you can.
It's all the way up.
Cool.
Fucking advertisements.
Skip that shit.
I don't want to listen to your bullshit. Final Fantasy. Oh, wait, it's Final Fantasy.
As much as I love Final Fantasy, I don't want to hear it.
I can't really hear it.
I can hear it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they can.
Hey there, Cthulhu, down there in your sunken city. You're a billion light years distant.
You have heard this?
I've heard this.
Pretty from Relay. So close and yet so far away.
Hope they can hear it. If they don't hear it, this is gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna kind of suck, but.
We're gonna look like idiots sitting here.
Well, we told them who it is, so if they can't hear it, they can check it out themselves. That's Evan Brooks with Hey There, Cthulhu. The Certificate of Insanity. I need to be one of them.
We could use one of them.
There's a little bench with Cthulhu. I need one of them. Yeah, that's totally what I want to see when I climb the bed with my wife.
If your wife does that, I'm gonna just laugh at you.
Yeah.
Like, how you made Cthulhu.
That would actually be pretty rad. Alright, so let's get back to the show. So hopefully you guys did hear some of that.
If not, then
we're sorry, and I'll put something in the show notes about
we look kind of retarded.
Mr. Evan Brooks and his wonderful little song.
You know, I just saw before I closed down the thing. It was the freaking it was the freaking He-Man.
Skeletor?
Was it? No. It was He-Man. It was like fucking colorful bullcrap and.
Oh, the rainbow thing in the background. And I say.
Yeah. I saw that before I closed it. I'm like, I remember that.
I said that to Johnny forever ago, and I'm like, I told you your childhood made you gay. And he's like, I fucking hate you. For those of you who don't know who Johnny is, reference episode 4.
Yeah. Or actually, it's a 2. That was a.
He was in the second part of 3, and he was in 4.
Actually, did you yell at him for me about Harley Quinn?
Yes,
you did.
I did. I told him he was a stupid little bitch.
Because
I told
Amber about it, and she was like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "But wasn't she in something like the 40s?" I'm like, "Absolutely not."
They do
There's
actually
probably a character kind of base.
They talk. Surprisingly, they do mention the name Harley Quinn.
It just never.
She herself never appeared though.
Okay, so it's mentioned, and then what they did with the TV show is that they brought her into the light.
Yeah, they speak of her, but not much.
Even with that, Johnny's wrong. I'm right.
If
Johnny's watching this, fuck you. I was right.
Yeah,
fuck yourself.
Johnny's a douche. So. So let's get into the reviews.
Okay.
Should I go first, or do you want to go first?
I want to go first.
Okay, go for it.
Just because I watched this today, and I'm super fucking excited about it.
Okay. This is the Fritz Lang film from 27.
27. And
Metropolis.
And if you can see the scary ass robot, that actually kind of scares me.
It's actually not a robot. They actually have a legitimate name.
It's
called a gynoid.
A gynoid?
Yes, because they female android.
Oh, okay.
So they call them gynoids.
Well, either way.
And surprisingly, it is a actual term. I looked it up. Because I was like, female android, and it comes up and it said, related search, gynoid. And I'm like, what the fuck is a gynoid? So I clicked on it, and it's female androids. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool that that's actually got a legitimate name.
Now, see, I got the cut version, unfortunately. The one I found was only an hour and a half.
Yeah, which you forgot to bring, so you borrowed my copy.
Well, I have it, and I would have brung it, but it doesn't come in this nice little plastic case.
Oh,
It comes in the fucking paper thing from companies.
Well,
I bought it for $3.
whereas my version is the restored, authorized
Which I might
edition.
steal from you,
You are
just
not
to watch
stealing
the.
Which,
rest-
yeah, this is
the
actually
stuff I missed.
the right here, and 124 minutes. So
Yeah, mine was
it's-
111.
Yeah.
So
Obviously mine's got more footage, and
it's got bonus features.
Fritz Lang, German director.
Yeah, who was Jewish?
He was Jewish, and he's a dick.
A little bit.
Everything that I've ever read about the guy shows how much of an asshole he is.
Okay.
I don't. Well, probably was. I think he's dead now.
Well, I would hope so. Anyway.
You would hope that he's dead. You're a dick.
1927. He freaking
Yeah.
made a movie. He's got to be in his 20s at least
I would think
to make
so,
a movie.
Yeah.
That would make him over.
He's
easily over 100.
Well, he's probably dead. But regardless.
But if he's still alive, we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry. And anyone from the Lang family that heard JJ as a dick. But anyway, what do you got to say about Metropolis?
I watched it, and I could imagine, like, some of it was a little cheesy. Some of it definitely aged.
I mean, there are parts to it that definitely do not stand up because obviously modern technology and everything.
Right, and it leaves you sitting there asking when the movie's going to be over. But when it actually starts to pick up and the main plot takes
the thing that I love is that it's supposed to be a futuristic 1985. And
how did you figure that out? Did it say it?
Yeah, it says that.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, it says it right at the beginning of the movie. Although you've got the cut version, so it might not say it.
It probably doesn't say it.
But I think that's
so
hilarious.
Futuristic 85.
Well, you got to remember, 27 to 85. That's almost 60 years.
Yeah, Back to the Future did it too.
So they thought, oh well, we're gonna have this and this, and
we're not.
Technology of course did advance greatly,
just not
but
as
not
much as
that
they
much.
thought.
Like we don't have household automatons, which I would love to have a robot around the house to do shit for me.
That'd be kind of cool. A little handyman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, we've got the little vacuum bots, but those don't count for shit.
They run into the walls. They're worthless.
Yeah, they're not that great.
Anyway, it freaked me out.
What do you think about the art direction? Because that's the first thing I want to talk about.
That's one of the big things I noticed. Everything was clean, yet very frightening looking from its size, and also it seemed like it was made of steel.
The cool thing with Metropolis is it was
industrial.
really the last film to do German expressionism, which of course we've touched on with Nosferatu and Faust.
Right, but those were of course earlier.
Much earlier. Well, Faust was actually after this. I think wasn't it 29? Because Nosferatu was 1922.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay, 29.
So I think so Faust was probably like the last one.
But either way.
But I love the art direction because I love German expressionism. I love those style movies, and I can't wait to talk about one that I'm planning to talk about in the next couple of episodes. So.
But I definitely noticed it was very industrial.
Very much so.
It was like steampunk.
It was, and you and I were talking about this, that it was
back
really
before steampunk was cool.
before it even had a name, really. I would say that Metropolis is legitimately the steampunk variation of Frankenstein. I mean, I know it's listed as science fiction, but Metropolis is really a German Gothic horror.
Yeah. So it's definitely got the aspects, got the plot that kind of makes it that way.
Like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about Fritz Lang's other film, because I've seen it. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Have you ever seen M?
No. But it's on my checklist to get watched.
It's literally the first serial killer movie.
No shit.
Yeah, it was.
It's not based off of
It's not based off of anyone, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But the film is absolutely phenomenal, and there's a tune that the killer whistles, and I had seen another movie where that tune is used, and I'm like, I know that tune, and I couldn't figure it out. Tim Burton used that tune in Nightmare Before Christmas.
No shit.
Yes. So there's a little bit of trivia.
Just goes to show Tim Burton's a fellow horror.
He is.
Traveler.
Tim Burton loves his horror, and he loves to take from classic films. So yay, Tim Burton, because I love Burton.
He's cool.
He's not done. Well, he's done a couple of bad movies, but
Alice in Wonderland wasn't super
I
exciting.
loved his version, and it's not
Alice in Wonderland. I'm
it's
sorry.
Through the Looking
Charlie
Glass.
and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I like his version better. I know
I'm
you're a
in.
Gene Wilder fan.
No, well, I do love Gene Wilder. I do love the old one much better in the movie aspect. I will say that the new one was much closer to the book,
Which is why I liked it.
and which is also why I have respect for that as well.
Plus, I
But-
only like one movie that Gene Wilder is in.
Really? Which one?
Young Frankenstein.
I love it.
I didn't like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Raven likes it. I've watched it.
I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I love the stuff he did with freaking. He's a black comedian.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Did a lot of stuff with him.
All right. So, what do you give for
Yeah.
a rating of Metropolis?
I love it,
Is it right up there with Nosferatu?
but due to its kind of cheesiness and its aging, I mean, Nosferatu still scares the shit out of you when you watch it, even
Oh, definitely.
almost
Definitely.
100 years later.
Almost, yeah.
Metropolis doesn't have that effect as much due to the way technology has progressed over the years. and
Okay.
that This seems a lot more likely now than it probably did then.
Yeah.
So I give it an 8.
An 8?
An 8 out of 10. It's good. I would watch it again,
I love.
but it's not like mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, I love Metropolis. I love the Gynoid, which I can never remember the freaking name of the character.
Oh shit.
For me, you know, I actually agree with you. I do feel that the film is
it's
slightly
not Maria.
Maria. I do feel that the film is slightly dated, but there are parts of it that still haven't come to fruition, so it's got that going. But yeah, I also give it an 8. I do love the film. I think it's a great movie, and I think it will always be one of those classics.
Yeah, it'll be kind of underground though.
Because
Because you don't see an average guy going to Metropolis and going, "Oh, that's an awesome movie." You see him going, "Eh."
Yeah, it's definitely.
That's why I was in the bargain bin at Humvees.
It's definitely a film that it has a loyal fan following, but it's, you know,
Diminishing.
It is, unfortunately, because a lot of people don't care for the classics as much as they should.
Psst. Introduce this to your kids.
It's a good. It's actually a good way for you to introduce horror.
It's
and
very
science
light.
fiction to your.
It's light on the horror base.
It is. Now we're going to talk about a film that absolutely you should make your kids watch,
Absolutely.
and that's 2009's Tom Six's Human Centipede.
Now you know what's actually funny of you saying that?
What?
My little brother William walked in on me and my mom and her best friend watching this movie, and he looked at it and was like, "What?" And we're like, "William, go play your video games."
Expose your children to Human Centipede. They'll probably hate you for the rest of their life, or they'll go into ass to mouth porno. Either way.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
We don't want to make that popular.
But we already talked a little bit about Dieter Lassar. I think that's how his last name.
Dieter?
Yeah, the first name. I think.
Yeah, Dieter.
I think his last name is Lassar.
Laser.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm making fun of his name now.
But I love what Eli Roth says about this. I honestly got sick, and that's the highest compliment I can give a horror film. I love that line because
He's seen
Eli
so much.
Roth did Cabin Fever. He did the first 2 Hostels.
Which are all pretty
I think he did
good movies.
The Last Exorcism. I think he did that as well.
The one of them, not the one of
Not
them.
of Emily Rose,
No,
no.
okay.
I think it was him and Tarantino did The Last Exorcism.
I have to
was
watch
a-
it though,
which
because
was a good
Tarantino
flick.
touched it and
And
his stuff turns to
Human
gold.
Centipede. I don't think I need to tell anyone the synopsis of Human Centipede.
We've
But I'm
done
gonna
it.
touch on it a little bit. Dieter plays a German doctor who is synonymous with the separation of Siamese twins. However, now he wants to combine the GI tract of 3 people to make a quote-unquote human centipede. Which doesn't make much sense, because centipedes obviously have 100 legs. So there should
We're getting to that.
we should see a
We're
lot.
getting to that.
Well, hopefully.
You're giving away the plot of the third.
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, that's what's in total.
This one, of course, is really medically accurate and being made from IFC, the independent film company, or channel, depending on which way you want to look at it. It took them forever to make this movie. IFC usually pumps movies out like that, but it took them like 2 years to make this, and I was lucky enough to meet Mr. Six, and I asked him, I said, why did this take so long? And he wanted it to be as medically accurate and find out if it was possible. And the sickening part is it is possible. Human Centipede 1
That doesn't mean you go try it.
compared to Human Centipede 2.
Disclaimer.
Human Centipede 2, in my opinion, was a horror film.
Right. This was
more
kind
of
of
a
medical.
gross out medical film.
Yeah. Which.
I mean, I do like the movie. I really do like the movie. But for me, comparing the two,
you can't. They're not the same.
they're not the same, but they are cut from the same cloth. For me, Human Centipede 2 was the better film.
That's because it's dirtier, it's grimier,
I
the
love
setting is a lot.
I love the fact that it's
less-
in black and white.
That
makes it
just
creepier.
by itself.
That makes it creepier. But I'm not giving any bad props to Human Centipede 1 because I do love the movie.
It's a great movie.
Now, Human Centipede 2, I gave a 9. I couldn't give it a 10 because it's just wrong giving that movie a 10. As much as I
It's
love
wrong
that movie.
making it perfect.
3 might be
It's like
perfect.
saying a retarded kid's wrong for being awesome. What is wrong with you?
Retarded kids are awesome.
I know, right?
Because you could have the baddest day, and if you've made friends with a kid who is mentally retarded, he will do everything in his power to make you smile. And
Buddy Elliot.
Dude, I've got a kid from when I used to work at the high school, Chris, and he is the nicest dude, and he used to get picked on so much, and he would still smile through everything. And he was like one of the best fucking kids I'd ever worked with.
They're the best people.
They are.
They're
He
so
was
innocent.
fucking awesome. He was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But for Human Centipede 1, I give it a 7. Not, like I said, it's nowhere near as good as Human Centipede 1. What do you give Human Centipede 1?
Oh, goodness.
Because you just recently watched it.
Yeah, well, I am super into medical horror.
Yes.
Yes. And I was actually planning on doing something of my own with the story, very medical based.
Yeah.
And
then you saw ATM.
I love it. I do. And it so wrong. It would be so wrong to give it a 10.
But you want to.
And I want to give
really-
them all a 10, but
And the thing is,
I'm gonna be nice.
And the thing is, when I did Human Centipede 2, you were completely against watching them.
That's because
You were like, no, there's no fucking way I'm gonna watch these. They're so gross, blah blah blah.
Well, it's because I've heard shit, and then my mom was watching it, and I'm like, what are you watching? She's like, Human Centipede, and I'm like, And then so I sat down, and I was like, and then while they're going, ew, gross, I was like, it's actually kind of cool. And my mom's like, you're fucking sick. I'm like,
Oh god, your mom must.
I'm sorry.
Your mom must think that I'm fucking whacked then for loving these movies.
oh, she already knows that. I told her.
Oh, I love these fucking.
I'm like, you
movies.
think I'm
Love-
a sicko? You should
Dude, I
go Ed.
Yeah, I mean, I love Lawrence, and Dieter's awesome too. Don't get me wrong, I love Dieter, and he was supposed to be at Rock and Shock the year that Lawrence was there. And I was gonna hopefully meet both of them, but
That'd be sweet.
he pulled out for some reason, which bummed me out. Hopefully he'll be at this year, so I can go and meet him, and I know Lawrence is gonna be there again, and I'm totally excited about that because I'm gonna buy it.
When is it?
It's not till October. I'm gonna buy one of the Human Centipede T-shirts and have him autograph it.
Nice.
And I'm gonna fucking. I don't want to wear it, but at the same time, I totally do.
We should, the day after we come back, we should do an episode just wear 'em. Hey guys, look!
That would be awesome. That would be fucking
We were
awesome.
at Rock and Shock.
I didn't get the Rock and Shock.
We didn't do it last year.
2012 shirt, which blows.
Wow, was it that awesome?
No, it just had the skull, the jack o' lantern. It said Rock and Shock 2012, and it listed all the people that were
Oh,
there.
nice.
And I was like, oh, I want one, and I never went around to get one, so that bummed me out.
Anyway, I give it an 8.
An 8?
An 8.
I'm actually all right. Well, jumping back to 2, since we've already reviewed 2, what is your rating for number 2? I gave it a 9, like I said, because I felt I would feel gross.
Can we do decimals?
Yeah, I do fucking decimals.
9.9 continuing.
Dude,
just to not get it to a 10, but it's like.
Well, if it continues at 9.9999999, it's gonna
Alright,
round. So it's gonna go,
9.98.
it's still gonna round to 10.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Cause
Don't round it.
The thing is,
If you round 9.5, it's going to go to 10 too.
well, 9.5 is different than 9.9.
All right, 9.
Okay, so
Just-
same rating.
Right. If we
Because we
haven't seen the third one
You feel
yet.
wrong giving this movie a 10.
Right. And if we see the third one and we absolutely freaking love it, I'll absolutely give it a 10.
Yeah, I mean,
If it's better than these two.
when I saw the first one, I saw it at the Red River Theater in Concord.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and 2 people actually got sick in the theater, puked in the theater, and
You guys suck.
I was laughing because I'm like, this is awesome! I was so happy. And then when I found out they were doing a second one, I fucking flew down, just like where the Watchmen, I saw it opening night. I stayed for the midnight showing. And I watched the midnight showing of Humans. It was Human Centipede 2, and there was another horror flick, but I can't remember what the other one was because I didn't really give 2 shits about it. I watched it, but I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I was more worried about like my soda and my candy at that point.
No, my freaking mom's friend saw it. Well, when they were watching the second one, she had to walk out.
Funny story about Human Centipede 1, actually. I talked a couple of friends into watching this. They didn't know anything about it, and they wanted to watch a horror movie, and we're on Netflix. Back when Netflix was actually awesome.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh my god, Human Centipede. And they're like, what is that? And I'm like, it's fucking awesome. Let's watch it. And we ended up watching part of it. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking hungry. You got anything that we can snack on? And he's like, well, I ordered a couple of pizzas, but there's some food in the fridge. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go over to his little walk-in fridge. Dude, he had fucking chocolate snack packs.
Nice.
So I'm there and I'm like, I'm watching the movie and I'm munching down it, but I didn't have a spoon, so I'm trying to lick the thing out of the fucking. So I look like I got this big shit around, and they're just looking at me like. So yeah, funny story about fucking Human Centipede. All right, so you're up with 2009's
Mirrors,
starring Kiefer Sutherland.
Right.
Who's the man?
He's awesome.
I fucking love.
He did 24, didn't he?
He did 24,
and that's actually coming back.
Yeah,
I think.
that's stupid.
I thought the old season was awesome.
9 seasons of.
I only saw the first 2
of a show that is supposed to take time frame of 1 day. Sorry, that doesn't work for me. He did the series Touch, which was supposed to be his later thing after 24, but it didn't do as well, so fuck them. Are we on? Oh no, we're on episode 18. I'm sorry, guys. I said this was episode 19 earlier. I'm sorry.
It's because we're talking about 19 earlier.
Yeah, we were trying to plan.
We're trying to plan ahead, and it's obviously not working in our mentality.
And now I forget what the fuck it was that I was talking about.
You were talking about
Mirrors. Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
And of course, he's probably most famously known for playing David, the lead vampire in the first Lost Boys.
Yeah, which a lot of people know him from then.
Yep.
But then, you look at him then and him now.
And he's been in a bunch of other stuff that I. Oh, he was in Flatliners. Yeah, I forgot about him being in that with some other dudes. I think Kevin Bacon was one of the actors.
Kevin Bacon's pretty damn awesome.
Hey, he's got some good movies. I loved him. Fucking
Animal House.
He was alright in that.
He was an ass in Animal House, which is what he was supposed to be.
You know what character I actually fucking loved him as, and I thought I was gonna hate it? He played an amazing Sebastian Shaw in X-Men First Class. He played the villain.
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot about that.
And he played an amazing Sebastian Shaw. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking hate this or him as that character, and he fucking blew me away in that. I was like, because the thing is, if you look at Sebastian Shaw in the comic, he's this huge, hulking, muscular guy.
Right, and you think of Kevin Bacon.
And but he was fucking awesome. Like, he really personified the egotistical maniac that Shaw is. And I was like, that's rad.
Sweet.
So I was really happy with that. And I'm kind of bummed that they killed the character, because I would have loved to have seen him in the upcoming Days of Futures Past.
It happens.
It does. As long as they stop fucking with the goddamn Houdini act, because they did it with X2 to X3 with fucking Nightcrawler. They just make Nightcrawler disappear.
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
And they're doing it again with this one with Angel just disappearing. So fuck you,
what
Fox.
the fuck?
All right.
Well, Fox kind of sucks anyway.
Okay,
So,
but with Mirrors.
Now you gotta bear with me. I watched Mirrors 1 and 2 back to back. So if I start talking about the wrong storyline, you let me know.
Okay.
Okay. The one where he goes to museum.
Yep.
Because of the nun.
Yep.
Is this the right one?
Yes.
Okay. Glad to know I'm on the right track.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because in number 2, or
number 2 takes place at his house, doesn't it? In the Or doesn't it rip his face? No, it rips his. No, wait, that's the first one that rips
That's
his
the
girl's
first one,
face
yeah.
off. That's awesome. I love that.
I was just randomly thinking of another horror film that he did not too long ago, and I was like, wait, I don't think we're talking about the right one. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, wait, that's a different movie. White Noise was the one I was thinking of.
White Noise.
That's a great movie. But yeah, a really weird movie. I mean,
It had a
Mirrors-
strange plot.
Mirrors is such a weird film. I mean,
I liked it though.
I did like it, but like, it took me a couple of times watching it to see if I liked it or not, because it was like,
The second one I could kind of care less for.
yeah. The second one I was not.
I was like, this is a movie that doesn't really need a sequel, but they did it
I'm kind
anyway.
of glad that they did a sequel because it did tie up a few loose ends. But I like movies that leave things up to interpretation.
I like it. That's what
Like-
makes them great movies in the first place.
Like a movie you and I were talking about earlier with Reanimator.
Yeah.
At the end where Dean pumps the dead girlfriend with the reanimation serum, and it fades to black, and then we hear her scream. We don't know if she was revived or if she came back as a reanimated. I'm gonna take it that came back as a reanimated, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why she's freaking out.
That makes sense.
That's what I think anyway. But
Oh.
I'm sure we'll
Anyway.
talk about Reanimator at some point.
We'll get to it. We're gonna have a Lovecraftian
I
ordeal because we're both kind of splooging on it.
We are.
So,
Oh, that reminds me.
oh god,
Another random Cthulhu bit of news. A couple in Massachusetts.
don't tell me they saw Cthulhu.
No, they
Oh, okay,
they
good.
had their first child. I have no idea if it's a boy or a girl, and they named the child Cthulhu.
That is the best name ever.
I saw that was actually on Fox News, and I was like, and I was in the middle of reading a book, and Johnny's smacking me in the arm. He's like, Ed, and I'm like, what? And he's like, look, and up on the thing it says, "Welcome, Baby Cthulhu" with a question mark, and I'm like, that doesn't look like Baby Cthulhu. And then they explained, and the woman can't even fucking say it. She's like Cthulhu, and you can hear somebody in the background going Cthulhu, and she's like, I don't know what this is, and the guy thankfully explained it. To
Wait,
her.
the reporter didn't know what Cthulhu
I
was?
had no idea. She
You
said,
loser.
she's like, it's something to do with a science fiction story, right? And she's like, so the other guy's like, it's based off of the H.P. Lovecraft story, Call of Cthulhu, and I'm like, these guys are some fucking rad fans. They're naming their kid Cthulhu.
I honestly, a little faith in humanity has been restored.
I just hope that this kid becomes the embodiment of insanity.
That'd be pretty sweet, but living so close to us, I'm not sure if I
Dude,
agree with
I'm
that.
totally okay with it. I am totally okay with it.
It's like, we got an insane person in the New England area. Yay!
I want to see this kid like grow up and have the fucking star tattooed on their head, and all of a sudden a sunken city rises up from fucking
Atlantis.
from
Just-
Boston Bay. All of a sudden, Relay just shows up out of nowhere, and you see like
Awesome.
Nerlophatep and Hastar and all the other ones. I would fucking be happy about this.
I'd go just for the fact that it's like, yes, Lovecraft, you were right.
Like Zagoth just shows up out of nowhere. The night gaunts just start flying.
Watch now that happened, a bunch of other people are gonna be naming their babies the other ones, and eventually
Dude,
they're
I
gonna
would-
all get together and then be best friends.
I would totally have like if I had strictly sons, I would totally name one of my sons Hastar. Because my favorite
Cool
from the
name.
Cthulhu myths was Hastar, aka the King in Yellow. He was always my favorite. I know like a lot of people love Cthulhu or Dagon or like Nerlophatep, but
That's such a fucking weird name.
Nerlophatep, that
Nerlophatep.
crawling horror.
It's scary, but it's still the name is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. All right, so
Anyway, rating on Mirrors,
Yeah,
I
what
give
do you
it 6-ish because the plot it was a little loose.
you know, the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's gonna be one that holds up.
I don't think any movie nowadays is going to hold up. So
There are some
we can
that
just
there are
continue.
some that I think really will. Like I think that Pacific Rim. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
I haven't seen that.
That movie is a perfect movie.
Is it?
You
I'll
get
watch it.
exactly what Guillermo del Toro tells you you're gonna get. He says you're
Oh,
gonna
I like
get
I like
giant
his stuff
robots
anyway.
fighting giant monsters, and that's exactly what you get. He doesn't fuck around with anything, and he's come straight up and said, you know, Pacific Rim is the film that he wanted to make, and that's why it's a perfect fucking film. There is nothing wrong with that movie.
Oh.
Nothing.
Oh.
I would actually put Pacific Rim, like, if you were to say, all right, let's do a list of movies of the decade, Pacific Rim is number one. There is nothing Even Human Centipede 2.
Would not.
I love that movie. I would almost
It'd be just under it.
like. I would actually like if we were to talk about our favorite movies in general. Pacific Rim would actually be right there with Nosferatu battling it out. That's how fucking good it is.
Nice.
Like I cannot say a bad thing about that movie. And they're doing 2 sequels. Del Toro's directing 2 sequels.
To Pacific Rim?
Yeah.
Sweet.
And the fact that he's
I'm going to
doing-
watch the first one just to keep up.
The fact that he's doing it makes me happy because I thought they would get it.
I've seen some of his other movies that
He did Pan's Labyrinth, which was amazing.
Yeah, which I
he did
have seen parts of.
The Orphanage,
Which was
really
awesome.
good.
That was one all in Spanish, right?
Yes,
I love that.
He did the Hellboy movies for comic book fans,
Which I love Hellboy.
I do too.
And they could not have cast a better guy to play Hellboy.
He actually wrote the script for the Hobbit films. He didn't direct them, but he wrote the scripts.
Which is just as the same.
I'm trying to think of some of his movies. Cronus, which was a really unusual vampire film, really cool flick. The Devil's Backbone, which was really cool. And another comic book flick, actually, that he did was Blade 2. He directed Blade 2.
Nice.
And he's a huge Lovecraft fan, and he plans to do Mountains of Madness.
Which I really hope he does.
I do too, because I think that
we need more Lovecraft movies.
It's not so
good Lovecraft movies.
Yeah, I was going to say good ones.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. We need good Lovecraft movies, not the shitty
there's some
ones that
really
have
good
come
ones,
out
and there are
before.
some really bad ones. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but have you seen Beyond the Dunwich Horror?
Do I want to?
Probably not.
Then I probably won't.
This is coming from someone who will usually love cheeseball films and such, and
It was so cheesy it was bad.
I mean, there's only so much you can do with Lovecraft stories to begin with because he doesn't show you the horrors, really.
Well,
he doesn't talk
Dunwich kind of does.
Unfortunately,
in the story,
very little.
Well, in
Very
the
little.
library.
But like the
Library
monster
scene.
in the barn, he doesn't really talk.
Oh
about
no,
it.
not until the very end, at
Yeah,
least.
and it's like,
I mean, even in the end, it's something you can't see.
yeah. I mean, obviously with Cthulhu, he talks about it, and with Hastor, that particular character wasn't even made by Lovecraft, but it is part of the Cthulhu myths. That was made by Robert W. Chambers, and I will actually review King and Yellow at some point because I do have the book and I've read it on a couple of occasions. I want to reread it again before I do the review, though.
Let me know when you're doing that.
I will definitely.
Oh, my fucking back.
But yeah, for me with mirrors, and I'm sorry that I keep going off on this Cthulhu tangent, guys. I'm sorry. I give it a 5.
Okay, that's not too far from where I was.
No, I don't think it's a great movie, but I don't think it's a hunk of shit either. Like,
It's rewatchable.
yeah, but it's
But
not
the
one of
plot
those.
is
It's
like-
not one of those movies where I think I would watch it like once a year or anything. I think it'd be probably like once every 5 years, just because I'm like, oh, I haven't watched this in a while.
Right. It's like, oh, nostalgia, kind of nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so I'm up with the 2008 Clive
movie.
Barker film,
Oh my goodness.
Midnight Meat Train.
I also watched this with my mom, and she had to stop watching in the middle, and I was the only one that kept
Okay,
on watching.
this I don't agree with,
Hmm.
and this was from Cinematical. Easily the best Clive Barker adaptation since the first Hellraiser film. Bullshit.
No.
Hellraiser is a piece of perfection, and that is art.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
just
a great movie.
And comparing Meat Train to Hellraiser, like you and I have said, that is an intellectual horror film.
Yeah.
You sit down and that film makes you think. This is straight up gore.
We're chopping people up. We're
Bashing them with
half.
hammers. And I love this movie. I'm not saying anything bad about it. Although the first time I watched this movie, I fucking hated it.
Really?
Because I had just finished reading Books of Blood Volume 1, which the short story is in. And it differs greatly. And
So it's kind of like
Great.
1408 for Stephen King.
Yeah. But I hated the movie at first. Like, I'm like, it was boring to me at first. But I went back and I rewatched it, and I rewatched it recently with Raven, and both of us did enjoy the film up until she hated the end. Which, the end is really weird. Like, when they talk about the Corinthians, that's what I've come to call them. I don't think they've actually got a legitimate name.
Corinthians, like biblical?
Yeah, because they're predate humanity. So
Oh, okay.
that's why I call them the Corinthians. But he's been in a shit ton of stuff.
Vinnie Jones is
Do you
awesome.
know? Do you know what the most recent thing is that he's done?
No.
He plays Volstagg in the Thor movies,
Nice.
which he plays the fat one out of the Warriors 3. But he also played in the HBO show Rome, where he was a Legionnaire in the 13th Regiment, which is a great fucking show.
He's done a shit ton of shit.
And he played Frank Castle in Punisher Warzone.
Honestly want to know my favorite role he's done? It's kind of, stereotypical of...
Mahogany?
No, because I'm a car guy. Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's right, he wasn't gone in
And
60 seconds.
the reason I like that is because he was quiet for the whole fucking thing until
He
the end.
doesn't talk at all in this.
No, which I think is
Because
his
his
best.
tongue's been removed.
I think this is his best. I think it's better when someone doesn't talk during a movie, especially the protagonist. But we've seen it a lot more recently than we have before.
Putting him as the forefront in a movie, this is definitely his best, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
However, it's hard to
As
say...
a secondary character,
It's
there's
hard.
a lot more
It's
stuff.
hard to say. Is this his best compared to him as Frank Castle in The Punisher or as Volstagg in Thor? I love Thor. He's one of my all-time favorite heroes. So of course I'm gonna kind of root for that. But he was phenomenal in this. Like I said, when I first watched it, I hated it.
I didn't read the stories.
I did. As you know, I'm a huge Clive Barker fan.
Right.
He ranks right up there with Lovecraft and Poe for me as one of the greatest horror writers.
Right.
Horror and dark fantasy, because he does fantasy stuff as well. But looking at it as a movie and not a story, it's phenomenal. It's such a good movie. And for me, I give Midnight Meat Train, obviously, like I said, it's not Hellraiser.
Not by any means.
Hellraiser is perfection when it comes to Clive Barker's book.
Right.
I mean, there is a little bit of things that Clive himself changed because he directed the film and wrote the film. So he wanted to change a few things.
If he wanted to, then he could.
Like, I'm glad that he changed Pinhead because in the book, he's kind of almost giddy like a schoolgirl.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I like him like this.
Like the movie where he just
I mean, I loved him in the book too. Like, the book definitely has far more perversive thoughts than the movie did.
Yeah.
Because of Frank. But anyway, back to Meat Train. I give it an 8. I can't give it any higher only because there is some liberties that I would have liked not to have been taken. Like, I would have liked to have actually seen a little bit more of the quote-unquote slaughter of the cattle.
That would have been.
Because, I mean,
a lot better.
you get it from, like, a camera view, and I would have liked to have seen it from Mahogany's view as well.
That would have been cool.
Unfortunately, we don't get that, though.
No.
So what do you give Midnight Meat Train?
Not too far away. I think I'll give it a 7.
A 7? Okay.
It's a good movie. I would rewatch it again.
Yeah.
It's a gore fest.
It is a gore fest. Like, if you're a gore hound, you're gonna love it.
And I'm not, you know me, I'm not really into that.
Yeah, that's
gore
more
stuff,
up.
but
That's
it does
more
have
up
a
my
psychological thing to it.
Yeah,
So it's kind of cool.
And what did you think of the conductor being in on it?
Oh my goodness.
Because
when that was brought to me, I was like, this explains everything.
It does.
It explains why he gets away with it.
It does. All right, so
I love it.
Now we're into the comparison.
Nice.
And of course, we've got the classic, which I'm pretty sure everybody at this point has seen, the 1982 Evil Dead, starring Bruce Campbell. Bruce and a bunch of friends. Bruce playing Ash goes to this secluded cabin with his girlfriend, his best friend, his
girlfriend.
And I think the final one is Ash's sister, but they don't really say if it is or not. They find the Necronomicon Ex Mortos, aka the Book of the Dead, bound in human flesh and passages to ancient Sumerian demon rituals. They find a tape recorder with the translation. They play it, awakening an ancient evil in the forest, which brings possession and creates the Deadites. Then we've got the 2013 version. Same premise, new characters though.
Doesn't he show up in it though?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, I thought this was the one
time,
where he revisited it.
No, this time he does not show up at all, which
Bruce Campbell
blows.
Yeah.
However, we have a guy, David. He and his girlfriend show up, along with several friends from his childhood and his sister. And his sister is a drug addict who's there at the cabin trying to get clean. So they lock the cabin and everything. Well, they again find the Necronomicon Ex Mortos. However, this time the guy friend is a archaeologist major, and he actually deciphers and does the translation. And as he's reading it, it reawakens, and the sister gets possessed. But then everybody else. The thing, all right, with this one, they not only touch on the first Evil Dead, but on Evil Dead 2, like with when Ash gets his hand possessed and he cuts it off with a chainsaw. We actually see the chick in this one of the girls gets her hand possessed, and she takes her whole arm off.
Oh my goodness!
With a turkey cutting knife from like Thanksgiving.
Ha!
But we actually have a couple of dismemberment scenes in this with arm removal.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Arm removal.
Now,
okay.
Have you seen both?
Yes, I have.
You finally watched both.
Fucking right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Which one did you like better?
I love the old one.
The original.
Because it's Bruce Campbell.
It's Bruce Campbell.
It's Bruce Campbell.
He is the man.
He is the man. And so you can remake any movie the man has been in, but it will never be the man.
So you think that the original is the better of the two?
I would say so.
I disagree.
Okay.
I actually liked the new version better. And I'm surprised because I love the original. I love Bruce Campbell. And I think Evil Dead is one of the greatest cult horror films of all time. And when they did the remake, I was like, oh, this is going to suck. But, I was like, I'll watch it. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt before I say anything.
Right.
I was blown away with the fact that the first Evil Dead, it took its time building everything up. This one just smacks you in the face as soon as it starts. They burn a fucking girl who's possessed right at the beginning to stop the Deadites.
Well,
And then, like I said, with the dismemberment of that, and the friend who is translating it, he gets shot with a nail gun, and he gets hit with a chainsaw, he gets his head bashed.
Well, you're right in that point that it does just like slap you in the face.
But the
with, all the
Necronomicon is supposed to be, this book of passages to bring these evil entities into existence, because obviously Lovecraft wrote about it, and all these other guys. And
I've actually seen a copy.
I have a copy.
You have a copy?
Yeah, I got it for Easter, actually, believe it or not.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't call it a legitimate
It's
copy.
not
but
legitimate. It was a hoax kind of thing.
Amber's got this one, but it's like abridged. So,
But
I read that. I was like,
for like I said, for me, the new Evil Dead just seems more of
it's more
real
in your
horror.
face.
It seems horror.
It's in your
Whereas
face.
Evil Dead, the original, they tried to make it horror, and I mean, I put this fucking movie.
And it came out campy.
I put this fucking movie on a pedestal. So for me to say a new version is better, it's really got to blow me away.
You're right in the fact that the new one is horror. I think the old one's more campy than
and
horror.
And the thing is, the fucking twist at the end, because you're rooting for the brother, because you think he's gonna live.
Right.
And then it turns out to be the sister, and she turns out to be the new Ash.
It's like,
because and again with the arm dismemberment thing, the fucking Jeep falls on her arm and she can't get out, so she's got to rip her own arm off. And then she and then she hooks the chainsaw to her own arm. Ha. She is the new Ash.
I love when characters do that in movies. Just take weapons and attach them to their bodies.
Awesome. But she is the new Ash, so new one, in my opinion, better film.
I'll stick with the old one, but the new one is very close. Almost a tie.
It was very hard.
But I'm sticking with the classics.
All right, cool. Do we want to talk about artists, or should we go to the book reviews?
I think we could talk about the artist.
All right.
We'll do this.
Very little in his quote-unquote horror career. We know of 2 films.
I know of one. I've only seen one. You've seen...
I've seen both.
Both, so...
And he played the new Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Which we both loved.
Which we both really enjoyed. And he played Willie in Dark Shadows alongside Johnny Depp.
I didn't see that.
I don't know if he's done any more horror films. I'm sure he has that we just don't know about. Or maybe we do and we just don't realize it's him. But he also played Rorschach in The Watchmen.
I'm going to have to look that up tonight. And just to see what he's been in, if we maybe missed something. But
Yeah.
we're mainly talking about the two movies
the ones
we
that
know of.
And the guy we're talking about is Jackie Earle Haley, who I love. This guy as an actor. He plays such an amazing psychopath.
I would agree.
Now, see, as Freddy, you definitely saw more of a comedic psychopath, whereas
Which is what it was supposed to be. I
mean,
he was supposed to be kind of
snarky.
He had one of those one-liners.
Yeah.
So
whereas with Rorschach, it was a driven psychopath. Like, he was so for the pursuit of justice that, like any villain who he noticed, he'd throw you down an elevator shaft and not think twice.
oh yeah,
And even though he was supposed to be the question / Batman-esque character of Watchmen,
Batman.
well, he was he's the detective-esque character, but I would almost put Night Owl more as a Batman-like character. I love Jackie Earle Haley. The guy is not. Hi.
Hi.
Yes. We're almost done. Would you like to say hi to the camera? I'll take that as a no.
It's not camera friendly.
But yeah, Jackie has not done
A lot of
anything bad in my opinion.
well,
Like everything that
I haven't seen all he's done. So
Yeah,
I can't give that
either.
judgment.
I mean, I did like him in, like I said, I loved him in Watchmen. I loved him in Nightmare. I loved him in Dark Shadows. Bad News Bears, I could give or take. I mean, he was good in it, but it's not one of those movies like
It's one of the earlier ones though, so it's kind of like you can't really give judgment.
And he was in, I think the movie's called American Flyers. I could be wrong on that one. My dad would know because he and I have talked about the movie before. But I love Jackie Earle Haley. How's your feelings towards the guy as an actor?
He shows promise.
Shows promise.
Shows promise.
Yeah.
Like if they ever made another
Nightmare.
he could jump in it, rock it,
I think
jump
so,
out,
too.
and people will still be scared.
I think so.
So I love him, but it shows a lot of promise.
I agree. I would like to see him spread his wings a little bit more, I guess would be the right terminology.
I'd say so.
And I think as a horror actor, he's phenomenal. I think that if he continues to play a psychopathic character, he's got a great career in horror, and I think that he could be. I don't want to say the next, Robert Englund because.
Robert Englund.
Yeah, but I think that he could make a name for himself.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that he'll live up to horror legends like Bruce Campbell or Angus Grimm from Phantasm.
No.
I mean,
but it's still
Angus Grimm. There's a guy I would love to meet. The fucking tall man from Phantasm.
Oh my goodness.
Because he has one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most terrifying lines of any fucking horror movie, and it's one word, and it's just that growly like voice that he's got, and it's when he goes "boy" in the first Phantasm. Like that is such a scary line.
And it's only one word.
It is. And it's the way that he says it. He's just got such a terrifying presence. We've talked about one-liners from movies before that are just great, and then we've talked about ones that are stupid, like fucking Pet Sematary.
Oh my god.
Which we're not going to get into because the fans know just how.
I'm sorry. If we get into it, I'm going to burst out laughing like
I'm
we
not
get in the
gonna
video.
I'm not going to do it. All right, so let's get into the book review. And you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
I'll let you go first. Now.
Okay. I have a wonderful compilation.
It is
actually.
wonderful.
The Mammoth Book of Best Horror Comics. Over 50 of the greatest horror comics and graphic short stories ever produced. We've got guys like Steve Niles, Vincent Locke, Frank Berner, just a ton. And we're talking stories about Lovecraft and old EC comics.
Actually, I did take a quick peek at the Dunwich Horror in that one, and I was like, oh, this is actually...
You've got ones from the New Millennium, which they've done, some remakes. There's one in here, though, that I absolutely love. Right here. I love this particular comic book, and I think I have a couple of single issues. I just want to remember what the frickin' name of it is.
Look at the story.
Yeah, but I'm talking the actual comic book,
okay.
Not the story. Nightmares and Fairy Tales. And it was done back in 2004. It didn't last long, which is kind of a bummer. But this is what the book looks like. You can pick this up pretty cheap, actually, for how large it is. It's less than $20. I got this at... Where did I get this? Barnes and Nobles in Manchester.
Oh, okay, cool.
I actually saw it Christmas shopping with my grandparents, and I thought that it was, nothing major at first. I just saw the big horror across it, and I was like, oh, it's probably about horror movies. But then I saw the 50s style comic art, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I started flipping through it. I ran to my grandmother, and I said, I want this for Christmas. Because she had, nothing for me. I'm like, this is what I want. And she's like, well, what is it? And I told her, I'm like, it's horror comics. It's got stuff bringing back to the old EC, Tales from the Crypt comics, to modern day stuff. And one of my favorite comic book writers and artists, Steve Niles, who did 30 Days of Night, which I love 30 Days of Night. And I think you and I talked about 30 Days a little bit.
Briefly.
Which, what did you think of 30 Days? Have you read the comic, or have you just seen the movies?
I've just seen the movies.
Okay, so
I'll touch on the comics.
Yeah, maybe
eventually.
I think I got some over there, so we'll probably talk about those at some point. For me, this is a phenomenal book. For even if you're not so much a horror fan and you're just a comic fan, or vice versa, this is a book I say pick up, because it might turn you on to other horror comics like the Tales from the Crypt, and maybe you don't even have to read superhero stuff. There's all kinds of genres
there's
of
all
comic
kinds of
books
crap.
now.
Freaking comics.
You've got
Comics are coming back.
They are. They're really
and I am
coming back.
so happy.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't really a comic book
No,
reader for
well,
a
it's because
while.
that's all I thought it was just superheroes and
Yeah, and I mean, you've always loved the Joker and such, but now you're
that's because I was introduced to the Joker and all that crap through the TV show.
yeah, and now
So-
you've kind of been introduced to new stuff. Speaking of which, did you finally fucking read Sandman?
I hate you. No, it's sitting in my rocking chair at home.
What a dick,
Dude,
dude! It's been 2 weeks and you still can't read a fucking single issue.
shut up. It's so small too. I could always just sit down and be like,
No,
What?
you can't sit. This is a book that you can't.
well,
sit
not
down.
just sit down and bloop, but you know what I mean.
It's
Sit
definitely
down
not
and
a
try to
five-
read it and
five-minute
understand it.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to sit there and
Actually, I told Amber about it,
yeah.
and she's like, "Oh my god, those are so awesome, but they're so hard to understand." I'm like, "Thanks for intimidating me, you bitch."
Well, it's because Gaiman has a way of writing that's very Shakespearean.
I like Shakespeare, so I thought
everything-
we'd be able to read it first off and
Everything
understand
is
it.
such a long sonnet when it comes to the character of Dream. The way that he talks is just so Shakespearean and Edwardian that it's just very elongated, and that's really the only problem. Like,
I don't have a problem understanding Shakespearean
then
anything.
you'll be fine. But it's definitely a book, even though it's a single issue and it's only something like 24 pages. Sit down for a half an hour with a cup of coffee and read it, because it's not a book that you can speed through like Spider-Man or Superman.
Right, and just look at pictures and understand what's going on.
Yeah, you have to really read it from cover to cover. All right, so what do you got?
I got a
This-
classic.
The Scary Story Treasury.
Yes, and it's all of them. It's all 3 books.
It's all 3.
And
Nice.
I picked this up actually at Mansfield.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Recently or?
No, this is a while ago.
Oh, okay.
But I remember the stories as a kid.
As do I.
This is kind of what turned me on to horror,
Okay.
because this stuff used to scare the
Well, we've only got 4 minutes left, so we've got to rush through this.
Anyway, it's a fantastic book, and go read it. Okay.
Okay, what do you? So you give it a good rating. Then.
It's a great book. It's very. I mean, it talks about different stuff from around the world when it comes to lore
Okay.
and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely have my favorite stories
Cool.
in here. So
Cool. Yeah, I definitely remember reading those as a kid as well. Not as much as like Goosebumps and stuff, because that was a big one for me as a kid. All right, so that ends episode 18. Again, not 1918, because I
18.
fucked up earlier.
it's retarded.
Episode 19 will be coming soon. Jay, what are your 2 movies?
Shit, I had it in my brain.
Dead Silence, because we were talking about
Yeah,
that.
and
Rubber. With a tire.
Thank you. I was thinking Cars, and for some reason I was thinking that movie Hybrid that I
Nope.
was thinking of doing.
No.
Nope, Rubber.
And for me, we have the 2011 film Chillorama,
Whoa.
which is a anthology, kind of like Creepshow and Trick or Treat, so that'll be fun to do.
Sweet.
And I'm doing another, talking about Cthulhu again, The Relic of Cthulhu, The
We
Last
love
Lovecraft. So we'll be talking about that as well. So that ends episode 18.
All
I
right.
think that's everything.
Yay! Okay.
Mushroom balls.
Later.